Today we go over Star Wars Episode 9, the final film of the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy alike. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, Episode 9 is currently in its principal photography stage. We got a little ways to go until we enter post-production, which is aimed for in or around February of 2019, which is when they add in all the special effects, the music, all the things alike like that. So looking at Episode 9, these past couple of weeks we have been learning a whole lot more about this film. Now, one of the big plot leaks a couple of weeks ago went over the first act of the movie, and today we will be going over other elements of that plot leak from the first act of Star Wars Episode 9. Once again, as always, do take this with a grain of salt, though it is very interesting when it comes to the character of Kylo Ren, Leia, and the Resistance. So specifically, the galaxy is at a point in which the First Order is ruling the galaxy. Many members of the Resistance question themselves as to why they are even fighting. Kylo Ren aims to take over one untouched part of the galaxy, the unknown regions. Now let me stop right here for a second, because that actually falls directly in line with what we have heard about the big rumors before in the past, that Episode 9 will be venturing out into the unknown regions. Moving on. Kylo has apparently salvaged sensitive information from the remains of the Supremacy ship that once belonged to Supreme Leader Snoke, which was built in the unknown regions. Kylo Ren thought throughout the years that he discovered a planet that was the proper topography for the official capital of the First Order. Many officers demanded Snoke to do this in the past, though he denied. The First Order views Ren as a far superior leader in comparison to Supreme Leader Snoke. Kylo surprisingly has had no issues with the Resistance. It's been very quiet across the galaxy. However, the Resistance has an ultimate plan in order to take down the First Order and Supreme Leader Ren. Now, surprisingly, he has no plans on developing a super weapon. Now, this is something that honestly really interests me, because a lot of people have been worried on whether or not we're going to get Starkiller Base 2.0 in Star Wars Episode 9. And that is something that I think if JJ did that, a lot of fans would be fed up. So it's nice to hear that we have a huge potential part of the plot in which Kylo Ren has no interest in developing a super weapon. Moving on, he instead has been focusing on making his army stronger, larger, and invincible. The Resistance over the years have split apart into groups and hiding under orders by General Leia. Once again, this falls directly in line with what we heard just a couple of weeks ago, of Leia sending out the Resistance in groups of 2 across the galaxy. Poe and Finn have been on the hunt for a military group that has been in hiding since the destruction of the Hosnian system, which is said to actually be led by Naomi Aki's character. Poe and Finn are under orders to meet with Chewbacca, who has been with them for several months. Leia is in such a desperate situation to reach out to one group that loathes her, the Hutts. They call her the Hutt Slayer. Eventually, after some bargains are made, they are willing to take down the First Order and Supreme Leader Ren. They are only willing to do so because the First Order has interfered with their business, and they know her son is the leader. Leia, however, has a plan to get through a large army surrounding a planet in the unknown regions, the location of the First Order headquarters, the capital, by use of a deadly weapon that can only be used once. Meanwhile, they must work together, creating a much stronger army. Leia has sent Rose to find an old friend that helps and provides ships and funds. So, what's really interesting to me about the first act of Episode 9, apparently, is it has all to do with Supreme Leader Ren essentially revealing exactly where the First Order is now residing in the galaxy, and that is, of course, in the unknown regions, on some unknown, uncharted planet, right? A planet in uncharted territory. And that, to me, sounds pretty interesting. Now, that is what actually a lot of First Order officers asked Snoke to do, and he denied to do that, and instead wanted to do it on a massive ship. And we saw the flaw in that, right? We saw that Vice Admiral Holdo split it in 2 by use of jumping the Radish ship to hyperspace. Now, beyond that, the whole concept of Leia dealing with the Hutts and them calling her Hutt Slayer most definitely actually has all to do with her killing Jabba the Hutt at the very end, of the original trilogy, in the beginning of Return of the Jedi. So, looking at Episode 9, she's essentially dealing with the Resistance, spreading them out into groups across the galaxy to different star systems in order to grow a bigger army to take down the First Order. Now, that weapon that was actually mentioned, I believe, has all to do with a deleted scene that never saw the light of day from The Force Awakens called the Sledgehammer. The Sledgehammer was this device that could essentially rip through Star Destroyers as if they were toys, and that could only apparently be used once. However, in the meantime, they have to actually focus on making a strong army in order to use that as leverage before they use the weapon to get through the planet that is the location of the headquarters of the First Order. So it seems like that the First Order, the main enemy in this movie, will not have a super weapon if this actually all does end up to be true, and that to me sounds pretty amazing. I honestly want to see something more around the lines of Kylo Ren regretting that he's, you know, the leader of the First Order. Maybe it's too much for him, maybe he wants out. I would like to see something around those lines where it's kind of like he realizes that this isn't what he really signed up for, and he gets tired of being the leader. That I could honestly see, that maybe he gets tired of being the leader of the First Order, and then that may very well turn him to the light. Maybe he is the loneliest man in the galaxy, after all. But let me know what you guys have to say about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night